Hey everybody, welcome back to the brand new Stitch Up. I'm going to call this, what are we calling it again?
Beyond Fury Road?
Beyond Fury Road into Endor.
Oh shit, that's great.
Oh snap. What is it about Mad Max, or this series, this beginning series of films, or this remake, or this redo of the Mad Max film that is getting so right that Star Wars, under Disney's very focused lamp, is getting wrong.
Right.
It's a long bridge, but this is deleted scene, so just enjoy it.
It's all cinema, so you know there's a link there. I think.
And this is just supplementary material. This isn't an actual episode.
Bonus, baby. Yeah. Beyond Fury Road.
Bone ass.
Okay, so the major innovation of Mad Max, apart from all the qualities that we've discussed of things like costuming and intricate, delicate, and dedicated plotting, is this idea, as you said before, of this kind of kung fu Max, who just goes from story to story. So Star Wars is obsessed, instead of that, with a continual soap opera lineage of a very few characters.
Of this one family, really.
Right. And why is it obsessed with that? If you look at A New Hope, it wasn't necessarily obsessed with that. And then suddenly, in Empire Strikes Back, which is uncontroversially, in my opinion, the best of the Star Wars movies. Undoubtedly. However, Empire Strikes Back contains the seeds, in my opinion, the seed of the destruction of the Star Wars franchise. And I've actually blogged about this before on HuffPo. But the point
is that that's a blogging site for
losers like me.
No, for hippopotami, is it? The HuffPost. I wish I could type, but my feet are too big.
That's why the blogs are so rubbish, like mine was. and the point is that you know, okay, the seed of the destruction is as follows. Suddenly, which definitely, and I don't care what anybody says, Darth Vader was never supposed to be Luke's father in A New Hope.
Okay, is that the case?
I'm absolutely convinced of it. I will not hear anyone...
You haven't, like, no one said that. George Lucas hasn't said that outwardly.
George Lucas doesn't admit it, and it's because he's attached to the innovation that he came up with, or someone suggested it to him, to come about as a twist in Empire. Mm-hmm. And it's a real twist. I mean, it's not even a twist. It's just like withheld information, apparently. Withheld by key characters because even Obi-Wan doesn't seem to know it in the first one. And he would know it, especially if you think about the prequels, what their interaction.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
His interaction with Luke is so fucking weird in A New Hope, if he remembers any of the actions of the prequels. He was killed.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, oh, by the way, I cut his legs off on a lava planet. Like, that's really it's actually manipulative as fuck.
Yeah, and he was a good friend. This is all being covered to death and to magic by the Red Letter Media guys in the Plinkett reviews. It's phenomenal. But this is something what I'm trying to get at is something they don't go into. In Empire, they throw in this twist that is the dad. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm actually okay with that. But it's the seed of the destruction. The seed sprouts when Leia in Jedi is also the sister of Luke.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden, you've gone from having a father-son relationship, which is actually kind of interesting, to now Leia, this whole other, presumably someone who had a whole other family that we could have found out about. Okay, they were destroyed in Alderaan, but still, she's another lineage. All of a sudden, no, she's not. She's part of the same one. And then, because of that lineage becoming important, that the two children and the father are part of, the prequels, if you're going to do them at all, become obsessed with that. Okay, now it's not controversial to say that the prequels suck. That's been done to death. How could the prequels have been done better? They should have been maxified. They should have been kung fu-ified. who should the Mad Max equivalent characters have been?
If I have an idea,
I gave it away.
If you're about to fucking say,
I gave it away because
no, you didn't.
I said characters.
Characters.
Yes. Who should the Mad Max Kung Fu, traveling from adventure to adventure, solar system to solar system, have been?
Young Obi.
No.
No.
Fuck no.
No, you don't think?
No way.
I thought you were gonna go fucking Boba Fett, but
No.
not the Fett.
No.
Bib Fortuna. He's the guy with the big goiter neck.
No.
I've lost the plot.
And it was seeded. The thing is, it was seeded. The frustrating thing about this is that it was seeded. Okay, here's my proposal. Here's how the prequels should have played out.
All right, you listening, George? Not Miller, the other one, George Lucas. Listen.
It's so funny that they're both Georges.
Both of you listen.
Listen,
Two Georges.
George can teach you a lesson about this.
Georgie Porgy.
Okay, here's who they should have been.
Okay.
C-3PO and R2-D2 should be the Max equivalents. Every 3 movies should be them arriving in a solar system in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Because a galaxy is fucking enormous.
Yeah.
But the action of all 9 movies of the Star Wars universe, I'm sorry to say, take place in my opinion, less than the equivalent of what would be one solar system. There's just not enough people.
Yeah.
There's not enough action.
Like, Coruscant, Alderaan, fucking, Endor, Tatooine.
A bunch of moons.
Yeah, a couple of moons.
One solar system. That's all you need to cover it. That should have been one solar system's action. And then the prequels should have opened with the droids in a completely other solar system, having a completely other adventure.
So the fact that the reason that R2-D2 and C-3PO were only introduced because R2 was Obi-Wan's droid and C-3PO was built by young Anakin.
Oh yeah, that would all be out.
That would all be out.
No. What I'm saying is that in the prequels, we wouldn't even meet a Skywalker. We wouldn't meet any of these people. We'd be in a completely other solar system having a completely other adventure.
So what they were trying to do with, even though Rogue One was it was about the
all of
Bothan
that would be
spies.
out.
No, but I'm just saying, like, that sort of standalone movie, even though it is connected to the New Hope storyline, and then actually ends with the Carrie Fisher.
Really awkwardly, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was a bit uncomfortable, wasn't it? Oh, hang on, this is now a video game.
No, but even the fact that it's so fucking close to second by second, like we're probably about half an hour away from Darth Vader.
It was like Darth Vader kills all these motherfuckers, then went to lunch, and then it happened.
It's like, we don't need it all to be tied up in a neat bow.
But that's the meaning. Like, that sort of standalone series is what you were talking about, but.
No,
but like the standalone Star Wars movie disconnected from the Skywalker, family lineage altogether. Mad Max Fury Road style. It's just these 2 droids getting dropped into different scenarios.
Yes,
and that's your movie series, not
here exactly.
Yeah,
and this is how you can keep on coming up with new trilogies.
Well, they wouldn't have to be prequels then. They could just be direct sequels.
No, because what would be quite interesting is. You really could have prequels because then the lineage wouldn't matter. But what would matter is you could go anywhere on the timeline of these droids because here's my ultimate proposal.
Here we go.
R2-D2 and C-3PO are...
lovers! Yes!
They are lovers. They are lovers. Why not? They are thousands of years old.
That's a really fucking good idea.
Thousands of years old.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Okay? And every time, and here's my point about it. If you just had A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi, it's like the second act of Fury Road being the thing. We don't know the things that led up to it, and we don't know what happens after it, but it doesn't matter. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful. To know what happened to these specific characters afterwards is weakened it. To know what happened to these characters before it is fucking terrible, as we found out. Don't tell us.
Yeah.
Let us imagine it. And you take the immortal characters, who are these 2, bickering lovers, let's say. I love it. Why not?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Bickering lovers who are thousands of years old. And they can go, you can take them anywhere on their timeline. You can go back in time. And I think, and you know, that would be interesting because you take them further towards their birth, you know, their journey.
It'd be great if, like, you know, during one part of this adventure, you know, C-3PO was like uploaded with, you know, like battle droid, you know, brain mapping, and he was actually hardcore. Like he was, you know, just taking out brothers left and right and just, you know, droiding up and killing clones and, like, you know, doing, you know, backflips off of R2-D2's back and shooting 7 aliens and all that kind of stuff, and then had his memory wiped and he's back to, oh, hello, I'm a protocol droid, that kind of guy.
Fun.
But stupid.
No, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But I don't think he needs his memory wiped. Because that's what they did at the end of the prequels.
They did too, yeah, that's right.
And I don't think they need
the
memory wipe. What I think is the great implication about the droids is that they're kind of largely unconcerned. They're just they're you know, they're thousands of years old. Humans, even Yoda with a lifespan of 850 years is nothing on these droids. Think about it logically. In this universe, which characters would be the longest lived? It would be the droids. They'd live longer than anybody. They're basically AI.
Are they? I'm sorry. Are they in Force Awakens?
Yeah.
That's how massive an impact that film had on me that I didn't even remember that they were in the thing.
Yeah.
Why you look pained?
No, I do look pained because Force Awakens is just, you know, it's not Force Awakens' fault and it's not Disney's fault and it's not. I was about to say it's not George Lucas' fault. It is George Lucas' fault, and in a way that that has not been said before. It's just this: he got addicted to the lineage, and the reason he got addicted to plotting out the lineage to the fucking nth detail is the impact that original twist had. Whoever came up with that twist, whether it was him or Lawrence Kasdan or whoever the fuck it was, that one twist is fine. But then whoever got addicted to pointing out how everybody is related to everybody else. Oh, everybody is everybody else. This is really, really boring, you guys. Really, really fucking boring. And so that's one fundamental way that Mad Max, the genius of George Miller, could have influenced the genius. Let's face it, George Lucas is on many levels a genius. He's just a fucking frustrating one. and if he'd gone back and he'd basically taken the droids, because the way he started New Hope, with the droids being the central characters and being on their own and just bumbling around, was amazing. Imagine if episode 1 of the prequels, you start like that again. And it's like the droids bumbling around in another part of the galaxy.
Yeah. And
just bumbling around another adventure. And linked to that is we talked macro. Now let's talk micro. How could Mad Max help George Lucas? Now, because George Lucas's imagination, fucking unbelievable, the stuff he comes up with, the stuff his team comes up with. But wow, the prequels were bloody messy. Okay, there's no doubting that. And one of the reasons that they were messy is that the original source material, the New Hope, is very messy. So I want to propose a question to you. A dual question. Why does Immortal Joe look like he does? Why does Immortal Joe look like that?
Why does he have the mask?
Yeah,
and the big thing,
like,
and
specifically, like,
why are they getting the dust on him?
Yeah, all this stuff. Why does he have the appearance that he has? What's it related to? Why has he chosen those things?
The military badges and things like
stuff
that.
like that.
Yeah, like I think he's trying to almost deify himself to become the highest order of these people and to be, looked up to and feared and revered and, all that stuff. But as Grant Morrison says, you can't be a god unless they've nailed you to wood.
Nice.
It's so good, man. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. He's trying to become a god.
Yeah, and yet he has this suppurating skin sores, and he's got some sort of degenerative respiratory disorder, presumably effects of the fallout, both of them.
You would think, yeah.
And so he's degenerating, like, rapidly. So he's got that, he's got these disorders, and yet he has to project this power. And fundamentally, the aesthetics of it are based on like kind of horror aesthetics, but also military.
Yeah.
So he's trying to project this military full head of hair, kind of
and chiseled
abs.
Even though it's like a see-through plastic, kind of weird, almost medical looking suction cup thing.
Right.
It's got abs and like a Batman from 1989. You know, that kind of sculpted muscle.
So he's projecting that too. He's got medals on the thing. Mm-hmm. It's based on kind of horror with the teeth and stuff. Military with the medals, a superhero gladiator Caesar with the chiseled and the cape.
Okay, yeah.
He's drawing influences that he knows will project this. What's Darth Vader doing? What's or whoever in the prequels we know who designed his suit. It gets put in it by Palpatine.
Yeah.
What was Palpatine influenced by?
I don't know. You're smarter than me.
He doesn't know either. Nobody knows. Nobody knows because it's not written there. The true influences of Darth Vader are samurai.
Of course.
It's a black samurai outfit. That's all it is, basically, because he's a sword-wielding samurai knight thing.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the prequels, which is where they should be, do we see why Darth Vader looks like that. What's the missing thing? The missing thing is what Jedi Knights used to look like. That Darth Vader should still look like. Jedi Knights in the past, before A New Hope, way before A New Hope, when they still existed, shouldn't have looked like Obi-Wan trying to hide his identity on Tatooine. Because he's trying to hide.
Yeah, with the hood and the thing.
That's a fucking Jedi. Look, he's dressed as a Jedi.
Is that guy the one getting something off the Bantha guy? Is that a Jedi?
That's a fucking Jedi right there.
I thought they were extinct.
But he's blatantly dressed as a Jedi. They should all dress like Darth Vader, but with exposed faces because they haven't got respiratory problems.
Right. So it should be full like armor.
It should. Okay, Jedi Knights.
Not a Hugh Hefner gown.
No, precisely.
Yeah.
Jedi Knights should be something that existed about 200 to 300 years before the events of New Hope. That's why no one remembers them. And there's just a few of them left. I'm happy with there being only a few of them left, but at one point there should have been armies of them.
Well, there was and then they all got killed off in the second one, didn't they?
No, but there's only about 50 of them.
Okay, so there should have been like...
and the timeline should be much, much longer. It should be like in the era of, in about 2,000 years, in the 2,000 years leading up to A New Hope, they should have been the dominant fighting force in that part of the galaxy. And the Clone Wars should have been something that went on for about 300 years, let's say, of that 2,000 years. Like epics on a level that you can't even imagine. And the droids should have been dropping into it at various points because they're about that old.
Yeah.
They're like...
And then seeing the Jedi...
seeing the Jedis go back...
Dwindle as well. Seeing them, come to nothing almost.
Exactly. And Darth Vader's aesthetic should have been there, present, in it. Like you see them come out on, I don't know what you could imagine. Did you ever, when you were watching A New Hope as a boy, or the original trilogy, did you ever sit and imagine like, I wonder what it was like when there were thousands of Jedi Knights? What did they look like? I did. And I was like imagining guys on... kind of horse equivalents with lightsaber lances.
Oh, yeah,
Light lances.
Or speeder bikes.
Speeder bike with lances.
Yeah.
Doing knightly type things.
Yeah. And you mean going out at night time?
At night time, or in space, it's always night.
It's always night anyway. And you've always got a glow stick, so it's fine. You go to a rave, and it's a good time.
But the point is that Darth Vader's aesthetic has to have come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And as far as we see, it comes from nowhere. He gets burnt up in some lava, he gets his legs chopped off, and they go, ooh, put him in a suit. What should the suit look like? Should be a Darth Vader suit. Like, put him in a Darth Vader suit. Yep. So
instead of what's a Darth Vader suit? He should really be wearing like a black cloak and the thing and maybe a respiratory thing, but not.
Well, it's more like, okay, so there's this era that we haven't seen in the original trilogy. We haven't seen this era when there was knightly kind of medieval combat across the galaxy. And the people fighting were the Sith and the Jedi. And they both essentially looked like weird... They looked like Darth Vader looks. Like
What about Darth Maul?
No, he looks like a ninja.
You don't reckon that's suitable?
No, he's just wearing robes. Like, how could Darth Maul influence Darth Vader's uniform except for the colour?
I'm not saying that he did. I'm saying, like, would you prefer it to be Vader to just be like that with a mask? You know, just a simple hooded cloak, not the whole get-up.
No, don't get me wrong. I like Darth Vader's uniform.
Okay.
I like it. You shouldn't change it. It's awesome. But you should, if you're going to have prequels, you have to show what elements of society that existed then influenced the choice of that uniform. Now he's walking around in the original trilogy. He's walking around as an arcane throwback. What's he a throwback to?
Yeah.
Or is he just some fucking weirdo who like hasn't changed his clothes for 40 years? Hasn't changed his clothes once since the day Palpatine put him in a weird suit.
When you get
that
something...
wasn't designed, was just like, where did we get this design from? Just made it up.
Yeah.
Just made it up.
What's it based on? Nothing. We had a few things left over from making some droids, and we kind of chucked them all together with a cape.
Yeah. And I forgot one thing that is as well. It's a German helmet. It's a German troop helmet.
You think?
SS troop helmet.
Was it a meat? No, the meat helmets are the big.
Yeah, not First World War, Second World War. Yeah. It's a Nazi, I should say, not German. Yeah. Love the Germans, hate the Nazis. It's a Nazi SS troop helmet.
Yeah.
So it's a Nazi samurai, and so basically, when you go back in time,
there's a combination of things I've never heard. In the
Nazi samurai. Well, you haven't heard it in a sentence, but you've seen it.
I've seen it on the The one thing I will ask.
Go on. Okay, so then sorry.
Finish your point.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you want to go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have prequels. You want to have sequels. He needed George and subsequently Disney. Disney could have rescued this, by the way, by just starting Episode 7, A Force Awakens, with the droids going to another part of the galaxy and just starting a whole new fucking thing.
And if The Force Awakens in some other people you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Well, it does, but then they bring that lineage back by having...
And
then Last Jedi is going to be Luke, and who's obviously going to turn evil.
Force Awakens could have taken place 700 years later, 20 million light years away across the galaxy. Is that more than a galaxy is? I don't know. Fucking lots of miles.
Look who you're asking.
Across the other side of the galaxy, because the droids... we don't even know what happened to them. It just opens and they're in another situation with another whole thing going on in another part of the galaxy. That's the way Disney could have rescued this. Instead, we're gonna have to fucking hear, what happened to Luke and who this fucking chick is, Daisy Ridley, who she's related to.
This is Leia's kid or something.
Who cares? Who cares?
There you go. There's some bright and cheerfulness for you. Who gives the shits?
Who cares? I don't care.
The question I had...
Go on.
Was... okay, so... putting the... This isn't about Mad Max. Putting the prequels and the sequels and the actual films themselves into, a context of timeline. Obi-Wan buggers off to Tatooine to live a hermit-style life and keep an eye out on Luke, apparently. This presumably happens after he, cuts shreds off Anakin and he ends up in the suit. So he bugs off to Tatooine, right? After the Clone Wars, excuse me, which is still being fought, after Episode 3, is my understanding.
I think they're wound up by then.
They wound up. Well, for whatever reason, around about the same time,
2 and 3, I think.
Yoda fucks off.
Yeah.
Right? And then, somewhere in between Return of the Jedi, which ended quite beautifully, it was a nice big roundup. You had all the nice, you had the Hayden Christensen ghost, you had the Yoda ghost, you had the Obi-Wan ghost. It was all very lovely. And the Alec Guinness ghost. And you had all the furry guys around, and all that. It was a party. It was a fuzzy party, which I love. And a big hugs and kisses, and then the ending, right? In between all that frivolity and joy and episode 7, something horrible happened and Luke fucked off. I don't think these Jedis have the emotional constitution to take care of the galaxy. That's all I'm saying.
Send the droids back like 1,000 years
And
to actually see the Clone Wars.
retcon that shit,
Yes.
Mad Max style.
Do you know what one of the most puzzling lines in the prequels is? When Yoda looks out at the clones fighting the droids that he's just started by calling in the droids, and he sits there. I can't do a good Yoda voice, but he goes something like, "Begun the Clone Wars has." It's like, what the fuck do you know what this war is called? Nobody knows what the war is called until it's over. No one in World War One was sitting there as soon as like Franz Ferdinand got shot. No one was going, "Oh, it's World War One."
And no one was like,
World War One has begun.
When Germany invaded Poland, they're like, "Oh, it's World War Two now."
They might have been that. But no, they weren't. They didn't immediately call it like, "Oh, it's World War now."
Yeah.
No.
It was all in Europe, and then
But
they
something
bombed the
weird-
shit out of Pearl Harbor, and then
Like-
America joined, and
Yeah.
apparently that's the world.
Right.
And then you had all the Pacific and everything. Like,
Yeah,
that's what it
became
became.
a world.
Yeah, it's not like the Clone Wars.
It's for historians afterwards. This is the point, in summary. In Mad Max, this is the comic, but in the movie, every character's, their look has a reason. If they did a prequel, which I fucking want them not to, but actually a lot of it's laid out in this comic book. If they did it, and if you read this comic book, you can see that every character has a reason for their aesthetic to develop the way it is. That sounds like a minor point, but it's not, because their aesthetic is their character. Their aesthetic shows their character's arc up until that point. There's a reason why they look like that. There are influences that they've taken. There are things that they're trying to project to the world using the influences they've taken, and they've come to look like that, as well as taking things from their environment. And that's the most minor point, but it leads to something major of Mad Max. And this idea of having your main character of Max just travelling from adventure to adventure, getting sucked into things, that's the way to have a season with longevity. Like just having these droids go from adventure to adventure across the centuries, across the millennia, across this massive expanse of magically infused, technologically advanced galaxy, of which, by the way, I think we've only seen a tiny sliver, no matter...
Finite amount, yeah.
Oh, we've only seen a tiny amount of it. It's so fucking small, what we've seen so far.